Xin chào.
Namaste from India.
Mabuhay!
Magandang araw.
สวัสดีครับ
Kia ora whānau.
Hello everyone.
Mingalawa, kamusta?
Hi, apa kabar? I'm a former James Fujitsu Scholars, Global Leader for Innovation and Knowledge.
It's insightful, fun, and transformational.
Confident booster, inspiration, eye-opener.
enriching, enlightening, and enjoyable. 3Ds.
Innovative, engaging, and reflective.
The visit to Doi Tung in northern Thailand.
International Night.
The Hawaii part of the program, we had fun activities, went to different places.
To shift away from open production as livelihood.
Connecting and learning from so many experienced and wise people made this program truly memorable and extraordinary.
So on top of the learning, we also have the new family, New Ohana.
The most valuable learning point came from a cross-cultural classroom setting.
Is to learn leadership skills in a global context.
The spirit of cooperation over competition.
It made me realize the value of cooperation and diversity.
We learned the value of patience to listen to different ideas.
And also when you look into the issue, you should look into it as a holistic picture.
And it really helped me to evolve as a person and also as a professional.
It is about taking responsibilities and yet empowering others to act.
Not about the role, it's more about the goal.
It's about being able to strategize a goal that is bigger than any individual on the team and the team itself.
Challenging each other in a context of that to bring about different dimensions of a team and to foster innovation.
To co-create a joyful journey for living and for learning so that everyone can look for
Is to understand who I am as a leader and become an authentic leader by action and lead by example.
Join the Global Leaders
For Innovation and Knowledge Program
now.
Mau nyetok barang dagangan, semua ada dalam jangkauan. Mau yang dari penjual tangan pertama, di sini bisa. Mau pengiriman mudah, di sini aja. Mau dibantu promosiin, di sini bisa kita bantu promosiin. Mau yang banyak pilihan bayarnya, tinggal pilih aja. Karena di sini ada berbagai layanan untuk membantu apapun usaha kamu. biar bangkit lagi. Ralawi.com.
Screen time gue bisa sampai 7 jam sehari, biar tahu banyak hal. Masalah?
Gue sih baca thread Twitter, tapi milih-milih.
Mobil sih ada, tapi kan lebih eco-friendly naik MRT.
Kalau gue bisa ada di mana-mana, kenapa mesti di satu tempat?
Kalau gue nggak punya akun IG, nggak apa-apa kan?
Tanaman-tanaman gue kalau dijual bisa beli road bike nggak ya? Biar lebih sehat.
Menurut gue vegan itu nggak harus western food. 80% makanan di warteg vegan best kok.
Beda perspektif itu biasa. Yang nggak biasa itu kalau selera sampai harus dipaksa. Kalau bisa ketemu sama hal baru, sekaligus paham sama yang udah ada, kan asik tuh.
Keren banget. Ayo Mas Yan.
We have ones that have been going for 2.5 to 3 years.
Lebih enak sih di trotoar.
Hai Narasi People, ketemu lagi sama gue di episode Take It Easy. Tapi ini bukan Najwa Shihab, pakai aplikasi Deepfake.
Dia bisa pesan barang yang besoknya akan nyampe.
Murah banget ya. Sampah-sampah.
Saya terjebak di gadget Anda. Tolong. Bercanda kok, saya senang ada di sini.
Ih, jayus banget dia.
Sawasdee krab. Hello everyone. Welcome to International Leadership and Innovation Festival 2021. My name is Kritawit Kitaya Reongrod, or you can call me Chris. I'm from Thailand, and it's my honor to be host of the Leader Talk this session tonight. Leader Talk is a sharing and discussion between leaders across country, discussing relevant topics related to leadership, innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship. This event is proudly hosted by Fujitsu James Community Indonesia alumni, together with co-hosts from 9 countries. This year, our main theme is reimagining leadership and innovation. We would inspire you guys for future leaders to be ready to adapt with the digital technology, more resilient, responsive, and embrace with innovation in this changing world. With 30 inspiring speakers from 9 countries such as India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Indonesia, Myanmar, Singapore, and of course, USA and Thailand. In addition, we also have 13 startup partners and 12 community partners. We would like to give a special thanks to Fujitsu James, Valerie Narasi, Take It Easy, Get Started, and Comunitas Mata Kita for tremendous support to make this event happen. Today, our Leader Talk session that I'm co-host today will be in the topic of women in the tech leadership. We will hear from a very amazing 3 ladies from across the world, from Indonesia, and right now she based in USA. The lady also from another lady from Malaysia, and the last amazing lady also from South Korea. Without further ado, I would like to give a floor to first amazing lady, the lady from Malaysia. Hi.
Hi, Chris. How are you? Sawasdee krab.
Sawasdee krab. Good morning. How are you? It's in early morning in the US, right?
12 a.m. here in North Carolina. So I want to make sure I greet my fellow panelists as well. Annyeonghaseyo, Marie, and Selamat Petang, Rose. And hello, everyone. Greetings from North Carolina, USA. I'm so thrilled and honored to be part of this esteemed panel celebrating women in tech at the International Leadership Innovation Festival 2021.
So I think we have very limited time, so just straight to the point. I want to hear your amazing background and what you do right now, and your background, how so far you settled out in the US.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chris. You're so kind. Thank you for calling us amazing ladies. So a quick background about me. I was born in Jakarta, Indonesia. I'm the firstborn with 2 younger siblings. I'm a wife and a mom to a 17-year-old daughter. And as a child, I moved around quite a lot. So, Chris, I'm wondering if there's a slide that the team is showing for this intro, or should I just keep going?
I think there should be some slides, so just wait a minute.
Okay. Yeah, let me know. No problem. But yes, I moved around quite a bit, and I recently relocated back to the U.S. after 18 years living in Asia, Indonesia, and Singapore, to be precise. And I call North Carolina home now. So moving on into my career, how I started my career. My first official job was as a bank teller with a bank called National City. I worked for one of the branches in my university campus. At that time, it was the highest paying job per hour. As a foreign student at the time, obviously, you needed to save a lot of money. You want to save money for like a car or something, right? So it was really funny that a communications person like me ended up working as a bank teller. But after graduating university, with a communications degree, I moved to Chicago to work for a global benefits outsourcing firm called Hewitt Associates, which you may now know as Aon. And my role at the time was a business analyst, which was to support the delivery of pension plans for Fortune 500 clients. you can say that this job was my first encounter with technology. And as a business analyst, my main role was to do quality assurance of the pension plan calculation that was entered into our system, making sure that they are accurate and communicated correctly to the pension plan holder. So this was quite a stressful job because you didn't want to make mistakes and give the wrong amount of money to the people that deserve it. And being from a communications major, I had no programming background whatsoever, but had to learn. Sorry. So I had to learn new software tools and run SQL queries to get by. Yeah, I think we can skip to the second slide. The last slide, I guess. There we go. Thank you. So fast forward a few years later, after moving back to Jakarta, I joined a few local consulting firms, but my big break actually came when Sony Corporation in Indonesia offered me a job to manage the marketing communications department. This was my first real marketing job in tech and electronics company. And Sony being a brand that I had long admired since my childhood days, I was ecstatic and really thrilled. I had the opportunity to manage the different product portfolio, from their TV lineup to gaming to PC to audio and cameras. Then this job eventually led me to join Intel 10 years ago. So yes, I'll be celebrating my 10th year at Intel this year. Can't believe I've been there for about a decade now. So you may know Intel as a semiconductor company or a silicon technology company, but many of you may not know about the breadth of innovation that Intel has undertaken in the last few years. It has expanded into data centers, artificial intelligence, automated vehicles, memory, software, and so much more. Everything that computes, we produce, basically. So in my current role as a global market development manager, my job is to expand and grow Intel's data center portfolio of product with key OEM partners or customers. My responsibilities really include preparing for product launch, sales readiness, including partner enablement, creating go-to-market strategy and co-marketing aspects, co-funding aspects with our partners for growth across the globe, and overseeing the development and production of marketing materials, collaterals, sales training, and such. And of course, ultimately coordinating and managing all the sales opportunities between global team and the field team or country team. So that pretty much sums up about me. Over to you.
That's very amazing background. So I have a question for you. As you mentioned, as you are mother of two, right?
No, mother of one.
Mother of one. Yeah, you have been living overseas and taking care of your daughter. Am I right?
That's right. So she is now she's 17 years old now. She's in her junior level of her high school. She's going to be a senior soon, so preparing for college very soon. I'm very old, Chris, so
but you still look very young.
Oh, thank you. Age is a state of mind, right? It's just a number.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when you meant, because my experience when working with Apple or Microsoft, I rarely see a lady who are in the management role.
I think
they must be very sacrificed with their personal life, their marriage life. They tend to be more single rather than just marriage. But your story was very amazing that you have a family, you have a daughter. So can you share me how you balance between your personal life and also your professional life?
Well, don't get me wrong. You're absolutely right. Most of the jobs that I've had in the past have been very demanding, very travel intensive. So I think when it comes to that, you need to be very prepared and manage your time. Everyone has 24 hours. At the end of the day, there are some sacrifices for time, obviously. But when you do have the time when you're home, it's really quality over quantity. A lot of people always say that it's the quality. So I try to make sure that there's a, for instance, there's no gadget rule whenever we're together, and trying to travel together and experience new things. So making sure that whenever we have the time to be together, we make, it's memorable. It's memorable. And in a way, it also sets up my daughter to be a little bit more independent, not having a mom 24/7, and of course, all this can only be accomplished by an amazing support system that you have, right? So I am blessed to have an amazing support system. Of course, it will take a toll on relationships and all that. This is my second marriage, Chris. so it took a toll potentially from my from my first one, but now I have a new chapter, and and again, life takes you to, I guess, the right place in time. Yeah.
And you mentioned that you're going to be 10-year anniversary at Intel, right? So congratulations. So my second question to you will be, what keep you motivated and inspired to work in the tech industry? Because I think it's different from the banking industry or consulting firm that you have been experienced before.
No, you're absolutely right. I think so. I mean, if I can dive into what really inspired me to pursue a career in tech, as you heard a little bit about my my journey, I was a communications major. I didn't learn programming. I didn't learn coding, for instance. I didn't really have a technical background. But my first job in Chicago, the one as a business analyst, really opened up my eyes to the power of what we can do when we what technology can do, right? So and I ever since I was 6 years old, and I'm going to reveal a little bit of how old I am when I say this. The very first device or gadget that I ever owned was a handheld game console called Game & Watch. It was actually one of Nintendo's very early product line. And I was always fascinated, how, there was, the game that I owned, and it was only one game in this console. It was a dolphin game. When I was 6 years old, I was holding this game, and it gave me so much joy and happiness. It was the coolest thing at the time. I used to wonder why, how can this piece of technology spark so much happiness to me? It felt magical. So I was curious, and I really wanted to know what makes things work, right? What controls it? And ultimately, I realized that there's something about the dynamic and fast pace of product development and innovation that technology brings so much like hope, joy, and optimism, really. So, I think technology is made by humans to solve various challenges that, humanities face. So as cliche as it sounds, I believe technology will always have an impact on the way people live their lives. And I want to be part of that charter and journey of bringing technology that will positively impact humanity.
Wow, that's great and very inspiring. One last question before I move to the next speaker. I will come back to you again.
Sure.
My last question on this particular session will be, I would say, because I'm in the IT industry, I feel like it's male dominant industry. And as you are the leader, as a women leader, would you see any best path to be a women leadership in that tech company? And is any like beauty privilege in that particular sense, that because you are a lady, so you get a special treatment in the organization?
I see. Okay. The beauty treatment. Okay. No, I think being in a leadership position or being in tech, women in tech altogether, you need to make sure that you can prove that you're as capable as everyone else on the table, and you need to make sure that your voice, your opinions matter, and make sure that your ideas are bought in and accepted. So I feel there is, while yes, if you're sitting around and you have a lot more male counterparts, there is an essence that you need to assert yourself a little bit more, right? And another thing, I feel like being a woman in tech, sometimes you have to take the credit. A lot of women don't want to take the credit for the hard work they do. They're very humble and say, oh, it's all about the teamwork, teamwork makes the dream work, But actually, I think it's good. Women should really, acknowledge when they're being praised. Take it and say thank you for that acknowledgement. And so I encourage, more women to just take the credit, right? And you brought up a really good question about staying relevant. So, raising a family, juggling, parents that are sick, for instance, and that can be all challenging. So sometimes we face a lot more things that's happening on our, having a lot more on our plate, compared to our counterparts maybe. But, again, I mentioned the importance of having the right support system in the house, and just also having a great, I guess, set of girlfriends that can help you, rise up also. One important thing, Chris, I feel that we have an opportunity always to turn our male counterparts, our men, colleagues, into women allies, our allies. We can get them to champion us, and by becoming great mentors and coaches to advance in the career. So I think it's always possible, and I have seen that very much existing at Intel.
Thank you. I think it's not a good tips only for women. I think for male also need to be able to take the credit, be able to delegate at work, sacrifice, learning how to share the time management, everything. I think it's a good tip for everyone actually.
I agree. Yes.
Okay, now let me move on to the second amazing lady. She's from Malaysia and she's a head of the Engineering Association. So let me give a floor to Rose from Malaysia.
Hi, good day
Hi.
everyone.
Good
Thank
evening.
you, Chris. Good morning, Rini. And good evening to Mary, Ade. Okay, thank you, Chris. Okay, let me start by, my name is Engineer Rusnida Talib. You can call me Rose. Okay, currently I'm a civil engineer by profession. I'm heading a unit in Kuala Lumpur City Hall, a government agency, where my daily routine would be like providing a permit approval for these utilities and infrastructures in Kuala Lumpur. So most of all, we are still developing in Kuala Lumpur. So most of the developers there still needs the essential services such as the electrical services, the water supply, the sewerage. So that's where I came in to get them the approval for that. Okay. Apart from that, as Chris mentioned, I'm also actively involved in the Institution of Engineers Malaysia, IEM. And this is the organizations that promote science and engineering in all disciplines in Malaysia. So where I'm currently a chairperson of the Women Engineers section. Okay, back to you, Chris.
Wow. Actually, when was my time when I was student, mostly almost 100% are male study engineer, and only a few very rare study engineering. So my question to you, what have you what advice that you can give to the women who want to trying to break into the engineering field or tech field? As you have experience so far, as you are a common leader right now, have you share some tips and tricks, how the women can break into that engineering field?
Okay, you are right, Chris, because I studied part-time. I'm not into a full-time study, because I study while I'm working. So my class is a night class. But in Malaysia, there's a statistic that a numbers of student of female in the university or in the college is increasing. It's more than a male, and it's like very surprisingly. But after they graduate, when they enter the workforce, and then the number of the female start reducing. So you see, that's why we in the women engineer section in IEM2, we are now conducting a research on why these women engineers, they don't stay in their workforce. You know, why they left the field? Is it because of the salary? Is it because of the family commitments? So that's our scope of study, our scope of research. We will study from the moment they entered the college, how many percent of the women there, and then until they join the workforce. And we want to know how many percent of these women, amazing women, are in a women on board, you know, because in Malaysia we have that we trying to achieve at least 30% women in the women on board who can make a decision. So I think recently for this year, the amount is increased, the percentage is increased to about 30 something or almost 40. But it's not all engineering or not all technologies. Most of the women on board are from maybe administration field, or from lawyers, financing. So we want to know, we want more engineering, more technology women on board. So for those who wants to join the engineering, I think engineering is a good field. It's like, although you are right when saying that it's a male dominated field, but that will be create a wow factor to you, you know. Because recently we interviewed amazing ladies from aircraft. So we were asking her, what are you doing for a living? And then she said that, I am a licensed aircraft engineers. I mean, how many percent you know in the world or in Malaysia who are a licensed ladies, licensed engineers aircraft? So it's like outstanding. It's like, wow, you know, a wow factor to them. So when for us as a lady who entered a male dominant, it's kind of advantage, I think, you know. Okay.
When you mention on your daily job, I believe that you prepare some slide to show us how your daily life was working is look like, right? Would you mind to share me, like, you can understand what the women do in engineering field?
Yeah.
Maybe you can share some slide.
Okay. Okay, this is the slide shows of some of my daily routine in Kuala Lumpur City Hall, and on the right hand side some of the activities or some of the events that I joined during our event in the IEM. So in the IEM, we in the women engineer section, we try to, actually we want to create the awareness for the women out there in the engineering field, and we want to enhance the women empowerment. So our society is not limited to Malaysia only. We were actively involved in the ASEAN and Asia Pacific too. So there are a lot of activities that we jointly organize together for the same objective, for the women empowerment, for the increase of the STEM students. So all are in the same target or same goal to be ni. Okay, my second slide will be how I pursue my engineering engineering field. Okay, I started my first job 1993 after I graduate from my college at the Petronas Twin Towers Kuala Lumpur. So on the left is the still under construction, the twin tower. So if you can see that my office is that the small yellow star. So that's where I stay last time. Okay, I'm graduate architecture actually. So engineering is my it's not my gist. But when I joined this construction company, they taught me about engineering. That's where I fell in love with engineering. So I decided to pursue my career. I study part time. I took my degree, my first degree, and then my master. I think this is what inspired me because I love structures. I love buildings, bridges, landscaping. It's just that I realized that I'm not good in the preparing the drawings like architect. So, but more into the technical drawings. So that's why I told myself that okay, this engineering is what I'm going to do. So after that's how I be in the engineering. So I can say that Petronas Twin Tower that inspired me to pursue the engineering field.
Wow, that's a great inspiration. You see the Petronas building and it make you want to be lead in the engineering field.
Yeah.
And from the first slide, I can see a lot of male engineer, your colleague or the construction worker, which are mainly male, right? Have you experienced any resistance from when you're leading the male colleague or employees, and how you overcome that kind of resistance?
Okay, talking about resistance, it is normal to have different thoughts or different opinion among your colleagues, because you just cannot have a yes man in all situation. So I think it begs to us, or it begs to you, how you want to agree to disagree, how you want to face that situation, how you want to get a win-win situation with them, okay, when they disagree with you or when I disagree with them. So how can we sit together to get a win-win situation? I mean, this what we learned in the negotiation skill, right, in James last time. So this is where we need to apply that kind of courses. Okay, Chris.
So I think the lesson that you share also can apply to everyone. We need to understand what the other party thinking, what benefit that can give and take, and then come to the table and negotiate. That's very good sharing session. So I will come back to you on another session after the third amazing lady. Okay, Rose. So next I would like to introduce the third amazing lady, which from Korea. Actually, I have very direct experience to living in Korea for 5 years, so I'm very amazed to see the women in the leadership position in Korea, because in my background, my experience in Korea, 5 years at that time, I can see that a lot of management, a lot of working people are male dominant in every industry. And all the lady, after they get married, they tend to quit the job and become a full-time housewife and take care of the kids. But after I see the profile of this third amazing lady, she's a CSO, Chief Sales Officer of one big startup company in Korea. And so without further ado, I would like to share the floor to Marie from Korea to just, we can learn from her experience and background to leading the male in Korea. So welcome, Marie.
Hi, Chris. I'm not leading the band. It's amazing that you lived here for 5 years. That's amazing.
Yeah, at that time I worked for Samsung Corporation, so and all my boss are male, like Bujang Nim, Cha Jang Nim, all male, and only one female, but actually, she's like kind of single and she not married, and she become very addicted to work. She don't have much personal life. Oh no, but you are still young and active, so that's why we need to learn from you how you change the version of myself during the 5 year time in Korea. So the floor is yours. You can tell your background.
I actually have a slides ready for me. So I'm gonna just share. Oh, right. So thank you so much for inviting me here. I was named as Hong Yan Lee, that's my Korean name, at birth. Then I named myself Marie like 20 years ago, just because I like the sound of it. Marie. I was born in Korea long time ago. Of course, none of these celebrities were not even born yet. Maybe except this guy. Back then, Korea was not cool as it is now. And I'm so proud of this cultural impacts these guys are making. This is roadmap of my life. Since born, I had many interests along the way. I studied piano when I was 6, and my mom wanted me to be a pianist so much, and she really tried. But she realized her daughter is not talented only after 12 years of hard push. Then I don't even remember how I got into studying civil engineering, like roles. Yes, I went through dramatic changes, and that became my norm. I made feminist magazines in college, then joined female rock band just to smoke everywhere. Then I quit smoking and got my first job in pharmaceutical company and sold cures for peripheral vascular disease. How exciting is it? Then I moved to gaming. I made my major career in gaming industry, doing project manager, business development, sales, game business model designer, anything you can do with PowerPoint and Excel for 13 years. Then I applied for James program sponsored by Fujitsu and met wonderful friends of my life from other parts of Asia. I needed more challenges, so I joined British startup providing platform as a service for multiplayer game developers in London. That was too much challenge I faced. I burned out and quit. Went out for Santiago Camino, the road to find myself, and traveled around South America like Argentina and Peru. Then with COVID-19, I was back in Korea, joined another startup for AI transformation 5 months ago. And so here I am. And my company, SmartMind, empowers AI-based digital transformation for enterprises. Digital transformation is the integration of digital technology into all areas of business and fundamentally changing how you operate and deliver value to customers. I'm a chief sales officer, but it's not fancy. It's not limited to sales like in any other startup. There's tons of stuff you have to do with limited resources. You got to do what you got to do and eager to embrace many roles at the same time. Sometimes you should cover product, recruiting, customer service, PR, finance, or any other areas that will help you or company grow, right? Currently, I'm writing white paper for our patent pending algorithms called Thanos now. How irrelevant and exciting is that? Since I didn't have much knowledge about data science, I'm working really hard on studying, learning. I'm still struggling, but yeah, it's exciting. That explained my work. And I'm having a war with plastic as my side project. This problem is going nowhere and going out of control. I'm just so scared. We're still in the planning stage and we are a small team, but I know this will be the project for life. This is it. Yeah. Just email me if you need any help.
That's very amazing. I mean, when I listen to your story, it's very I kind of like remind me of Korean Ajuma, who very strong, who very powerful, very independent and everything is like kind of thing, when we go shopping in the market, all the auntie Ajuma are very strong in shopping, chasing
Oh my
all the
God.
stuff,
Really?
And I mean, from your experience, you seem shift your experience a lot from one company to another company, and you decided to travel to South America, right?
Yeah.
And then you change the field to be working for the startup, So when I look at Korea, I think Korea is one of very male dominant country as a overall. We are like kind of glass ceiling, which all male need to work and female are need to be a housewife. And now you become a leader in a startup. So my question is, have you ever doubting in your own ability? Because you mentioned that, okay, you study pianist until you're 10 years old and you feel that you're not good enough, and then you change the field to be other things. So at that time, how you become recover or motivate yourself to move on when you're doubting your own ability?
Of course, this is really good question. Of course, I always feel fears about myself. But I think apart from narcissist, no one immune to self-doubt, and everyone has moments, right, where they have second guess whether they can do it, deserve it, or overcome their challenges. And I just found a study, women tend to doubt themselves more and back themselves less than the men around us. Do you agree with that? I mean, I can see many women fear about doing things wrong more than men.
I think maybe because the women in general are more sensitive, so they care a lot of other people when they look at themselves. So they become very cautious when they're doing things and become a fear and cautious. Yes.
So I think when I was like that, and when I was first promoted as a director in Take-Two Interactives, it was a like big, large company, gaming company, male dominant. I was the only woman in the meeting room, right? And I promoted as a director among male peers, and they were all older than me. They were all good colleagues, but also were telling me, they were like, I'm not sure you can handle the stress of performance checks or politics in the organization. You need a guy, you need someone to take care of you, blah, blah, blah. And there were our legal counsel, who was another female, only woman in the meeting room, told them, Marie doesn't need an umbrella. She can handle this. She will handle this fine. And I think that empowers me so much. That realized me, we as a women, we should empower each other. We should train the brave within us, building up our courage muscles, like we exercise every day, in small ways and big ways, and every single day. We should practice.
Okay, that's very good concern, and let's move to the next question that I would like to ask you. As you are leading the kind of the top management in the organization already, have you ever think or plan to decide a policy or any support for the women to work in your organization that get some special treatment or get a better way of the welfare to be equal than equal or much more than men actually, or the like kind of holidays or job description?
Yeah, of course. So even though we are with the young people, and even though we are in startup, most of the burden to grow children is for women. So we are trying to make them give them flexible time, so they don't have, so they can work from home when they have things to do with their child. I think that's the best way we can empower women in the workplaces and give them more opportunities, right? So actually, there's a policy in Korea. Government support more enterprises to have more women in their leadership group, right? If you have one or two group, then you have like tax cuts or the additional points. And we also accept it, and we're trying to get more female employees and listen to them and make them heard in the organization.
I think that's very good that the government also play part in supporting in terms of like, tax cut off, tax exemption, and also you are as a leader can be like open-minded to recruit a female into the organization and work from home. I think with the COVID situation, I think every company can be apply
Right.
technology from home.
Yeah, actually, COVID-19 accelerates that movement, right? I think it's great. Yeah.
So come back to when you mentioned that okay, you have the fear and you overcome the fear and things like that. My question to you: have you ever had the role model, and your role model is a male or female that you look up to?
I don't know if there's anyone that legal counsel I really care. There's one, but there's just because I had more male mentors in my career because there was no woman. So I have more relationship with mentors who understand me as a woman in tech companies. So there's a group of men supporting me, make me grow in this tech companies. But I have I think I have a responsibility to make other women to grow in this industry.
Okay. So you mentioned that you have a mentor, mostly male, right? So what you learn from, what the women can learn from male?
I don't know if that's a right question. If there's, I don't think it's a man or female. It's about because as a leader, you have to make a performance, right? You have to make a result. So to make a result, there's a lot of things you have to combine, right? So you can learn things from them, like one from another, or male, female. But I don't know if it's a gender specific learning points.
So let me reframe the question then. If it's not gender specific, what your leadership definition for yourself?
Like I said, so I think leading is to achieve the goal with your people, right? So the first, I'm very performance core person, and you have to make a result. I don't say whatever it takes, right? But you need to show them good results. But as a leader, I think you have to be yourself. You have to have your color. I don't want to follow anybody or as a role model, but I want to make Marie's color. As I don't want to define anything. I don't know what to say. Just leader. I want to be myself and leader to make good performance.
I think the thing that I learned from you is just the leader need to be able to inspire other by driven by action. I guess. I mean, without any gender bias, but you need to show the action driven by performance, and then everything will be okay, right? That's what I got from yours.
Yeah, you're right. I think you made it great.
Okay, so
pop up in my head.
Yeah. So now I would like to invite another two amazing lady to join Marie, and then we can ask some more questions that from the audience, and from the YouTube and also StreamYard. So you the thing that I experience here, there is no one particular formula or one particular recipe for successful women in tech industry, because as you can see from Rose, Rini, and Marie also have different characteristics and different way of leading things, right? So Marie mentioned that she don't have much role model, and then my question still want to ask Rini and Rose, is any particular role model for you in your career path that you look up to? Maybe Rini start first.
Absolutely. I think there has been a lot of trigger points for me, and when I was when I was in Sony, I had one of the managing director that we had, Waksan. He was a very inspiring leader for me. He was tough, but he really instilled confidence in his team, saying that if you don't know this, you've got to know this. He was very hard on us. He really encouraged us to be the best version of ourselves. And then when I was, deciding to move over to Intel, there was one article that I had read, and it was an interview with the director of marketing for AP, the Asia Pacific territory. The Asia Pacific region. It was, and her name is Makiko Eda. She's left Intel a few years ago, but one of the things that I read in the article is, marketing the invisible. She says, how do if you want to test yourself if whether you're a real marketer or not, try marketing something that people can't really see. And that's really Intel's technology is very much embedded inside devices. So that article really sparked a lot of inspiration for me. I was fortunate enough to have her be under her team, not directly, but learn so much from her and draw a lot of inspiration from her. So yeah, those were the role models that I had.
How about you, Rose, as a student breaking into engineering field and leading the organization right now?
I think same goes with Rini and Marie. I admire all successful people who excel in their career, having a good life, having a common good. So I have not list anyone yet. Okay, I just admire those who arounds me, who maybe like my friends, my colleague, my families. Every single of them have something that can makes me thought about it. Something that can be a role, can be a model to me. So I have no specific role model, right?
As you have no role model, but I'm sure that the audience right now, all the young ladies around the world will listen to this StreamYard, will admire you and want you to be their role model for sure. So my question to all the three of you amazing ladies will be, what the tips and tricks that you want to give to all young girls and ladies who want to pursue and very successful in tech industry? Maybe start from Marie. What advice you can give the young girl to want to pursue the career in the tech industry that you have experienced so far?
Just work hard to become because you need to become, you need to seek excellence in your job, but just be yourself and look for what you like. But I always say work hard because achieving something is really important and it will make differences.
How about you, Rini?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I agree with Marie completely. I would say, don't be afraid to say yes to something that you just don't know, that's outside of your comfort zone. When you wake up in the morning and if you don't have a worry bead in your head, then it's almost like a sign that you're stuck in the comfort zone, right? So I'm not saying you need to be worried all the time, but at a little bit of worry bead that's in your head, that makes you want to sort of push you to learn something new. And you may not get it right the first time. It's okay. Keep trying. And like what Marie said earlier, be the best version of yourself. Be confident. Don't second guess. It's a solid session of preparation. Sometimes, do your homework. And once that's done, nothing can stand in your way, I believe. So, just make sure you do the homework well. The third and the last one I think I would leave with is make sure that your glass is half empty for new knowledge. Make room for new knowledge, right? So this way you'll continue to build your skill set. I believe Marie calls it like a learning muscle, or, like a muscle, right? You build a muscle, and that will prepare you for the next step in your career. So, and there's so many free resources right now in digital, right? Free certification, online courses. Take opportunity to do them and leverage that. Yeah.
Okay. As for me, to all dear ladies, if you want to explore this field, you are most welcome. So once you vent yourself into it, know your goal, what you want to achieve, get your clarity, throw your fear, get supports from your husband, families and friends, because every that single support that you get is counted. So it comes together with the blessing, So I know that it won't be easy, but definitely it will be satisfying and rewarding. So women out there, together, let's rock the world. Okay? Right.
Wow, that's very inspiring. And Rini has mentioned that be like kind of very positive and optimistic to perceive the glass as a half full rather than just half empty, want to learn a new thing. So now my last question before ending the session will be, what the trend on that technology space right now that we should look up to? Maybe set aside the demand in tech, let's talk about the trend that we should know about technology so far after the COVID-19 situation. Maybe we can.
Marie's company is setting the path, like healthcare, artificial intelligence. She's already there, and and we, where I am, I think it's really great to see all these technology, come about and make it possible, to exist. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everywhere I go, I hear about Clubhouse. I think that's
Clubhouse.
That's one I think everyone's talking about in tech scene now. Because I wonder how they can make a business model out of it.
Yeah. No, it's very different for sure. But healthcare, I think technology in healthcare now with the pandemic, hopefully, as everyone gets their vaccines, I think it's going to open up so many new rooms of new innovation and technology in that space. So it's a good place to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Rose?
Yeah, I think we, after almost a year, I think more than a year after the dramatic disruption about this COVID. So yeah, almost everything has changed. The way we work, the way we getting used to all that online platforms, the gadgets, the equipments that we need, right? So, but still, there's a positive way there, because in contrary, the family bond is there, the bonding between the family, because everybody is confined in the house. So from the husband, the children, the wife, so that's a good thing about it lah. Okay.
There are the question from audience, and actually it's stuck in my mind too when you mentioned, I think all the three of you mentioned you should be yourself, you should be best version of you can, but it's very beautiful word actually. But when you be in a big corporation, how can you be yourself in a big team? Can you give some tactical action strategy for the small staff position, not the big position for sure, that can be best version of themselves in the company, in a big organization?
Okay.
Because
Can I start
working,
first?
yeah, sure.
Okay. You how to be yourself, because it's like spontaneous. You know how to be yourself. You cannot be someone else because that's what you are. So of course, in the workplace or in the family, you can't pretend that you are a person, B person. So you have to be yourself. You have to be. I mean, maybe the question is like, if I'm a angry person, I can't be myself as an angry person in the organizations, right? So that's where we have to learn the people skill, the leadership skill, so that we can control our stress, ourselves. We can control our attitudes, but at the same time, still being ourselves. Something like that. Maybe Rini or Mary can add in.
Shall I go first, Marie?
Listening to Chris's question, I just thought it's easier said than done, right? It's so difficult to be yourself in your bigger organization. Then I was looking back, I couldn't be myself. Then I was trying to be myself to go up the ladder in the organization on the top position. Then voila, now I can say I'm the one. I am me. But yeah, I can. Yeah, it's not easy. It's very, very difficult. That's why you have to work hard and become a leader. Maybe. Yeah, that was really a good question.
So, I mean, I feel I can relate to this. I think it's a term called imposter syndrome. You try to be or mimic others, and try to conform sometimes. But, sometimes you can just rely on your own body. Your body kind of tells you, like, if you try to make a decision or, try to act a certain way, and your body actually tells you, like a trigger. If you don't feel comfortable, then you're making the wrong decision. You're not, acting the way you should. So I normally check within, my own ecosystem here, for signals. If I'm uncomfortable, that means I'm not being true to myself. But if I'm comfortable, then that's a good sign that I'm heading in the right way. I think that's the simplest tip. I think, to be yourself.
But I think I want to add, I don't want people to quit soon. Say, I cannot be myself. Just I will quit.
That's true.
That's not make any difference. Sometimes we have to hang in there, right?
I agree. Perseverance. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
hang in there.
I also agree that sometimes, I mean, even for male, you can't be yourself in a big organization sometimes, and you need to learn to play by ear sometimes, and need to be exercise politics, and then until you get your muscle right, and you have, when you have very good performance, when you're diligent, you work hard at work, and then you can be exercise your own self a little bit. But of course, you have your own kind of territory that you can't be lost yourself. You need to be true to yourself somehow, but not totally fake yourself to be another person, but should have certain limit to be in side way, So I think that's all today's session. I would so much thank all three amazing ladies again to give up your time in the early morning or very late at night to come to the Leader Talk session. So I also would like to, on behalf of Fujitsu James community family from 9 countries, I would like to give a special thank to Fujitsu, to James, to Narasi, Take It Easy, Get Started, and Humanitas Matakita, Lulari, and for tremendous support to make this event happen. And also thank for 12 community partners and 13 startup partners who support to pull us together in this festival to make it happen. So I hope the audience and everyone will enjoy this session with all the inspiring 3 amazing ladies from Indonesia, from Malaysia, and from the US, And yeah, I hope that everyone after listening to this session can inspire themselves to make a positive and great impact to the world. So, and I'm sure that the Leaders Talk Festival. We will still have more session coming up tomorrow. So stay tuned with you guys and have a good night, everyone. And good morning to
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mau nyetok barang dagangan? Semua ada dalam jangkauan. Mau yang dari penjual tangan pertama? Di sini bisa. Mau pengiriman mudah? Di sini aja. Mau dibantu promosiin? Di sini bisa kita bantu promosiin. Mau yang banyak pilihan bayarnya? Tinggal pilih aja. Karena di sini ada berbagai layanan untuk membantu apapun usaha kamu. Biar bangkit lagi. Ralawi.com.
Screen time gue bisa sampai 7 jam sehari, biar tahu banyak hal. Masalah?
Gue sih baca thread Twitter, tapi milih-milih.
Mobil sih ada, tapi kan lebih eco-friendly naik MRT.
Kalau gue bisa ada di mana-mana, kenapa mesti di satu tempat?
Kalau gue nggak punya akun IG, nggak apa-apa kan?
Tanaman-tanaman gue kalau dijual bisa beli road bike nggak ya? Biar lebih sehat.
Menurut gue vegan itu nggak harus western food. 80% makanan di warteg vegan best kok.
Beda perspektif itu biasa. Yang nggak biasa itu kalau selera sampai harus dipaksa. Kalau bisa ketemu sama hal baru, sekaligus paham sama yang udah ada, kan asik tuh.
Keren banget. Ayo Mas Yan.
We have ones that have been going for 2.5 to 3 years.
Lebih enak sih di trotoar.
Hai Narasi People, ketemu lagi sama gue di episode Take It Easy. Tapi ini bukan Najwa Shihab, pakai aplikasi Deepfake.
Dia bisa pesan barang yang besoknya akan nyampe.
Murah banget ya.
Sampah-sampah.
Saya terjebak di gadget Anda. Tolong. Bercanda kok, saya senang ada di sini.
Ih, jayus banget dia.